So for workshop number 3, we have another Excel discussion. We're going to look at mean, median, and mode. Now within that direction area, you have several options you can choose from. The one option that I chose was the school experience wages Excel spreadsheet. So in this particular one, I mean, you could choose whichever one you want. There's many options. In this particular one, just like all of them, it'll ask you for the mean, median, and mode. So the first thing we're going to do is it says choose one of the variables. All right, so one of the variable I chose was school. And in terms of that, it was the number of years of schooling. That's what this represents. So we want to find the mean. Equals average, parenthesis. Now, often this will work. It doesn't always work, but often it'll work. I'm just going to click that whole column. And the reason why is because I know there's no values up here. But I'm going to show you both ways, just so you can be convinced. Now, that's not always recommended. You want to be a little more precise. And some of you guys that know Excel know that will work. Excuse me. But now, if that doesn't work, you want to make sure, and you should verify it by doing this. You want to have the parenthesis. You click and you drag the actual cells that you want to get the average of. And so let's do that, and there are a lot of cells here. Okay, and then we hit enter, and we did get the same value. Now again, the reason why that worked, there was nothing really up over here, and we're just taking the average of all those numbers. So in this instance, it can work. So let's take a look here at the median. So let's look at how to do median. All right, and that one's actually pretty simple. We'll go equals, parenthesis, median, and then parenthesis. And let's capture that. So the median value is 12, and then let's do mode. The one that occurs most frequent is 12. All right, so we have the mean, median, mode, and now it says create a frequency table for the variable that we chose. Again, we chose the school variable, so let's go frequency table. So before we go any further, let's just make sure we take note of this range right here, just to make it a little easier on ourselves later. So let's just simply take note of this, and it's going to be very helpful for us in a couple minutes here. So next part of the directions, say create a frequency table of the variable you chose. So frequency table, it's very good to actually know what the minimum and the maximum is. So let's get the minimum of this table. And like I said, it was probably a really good thing that we knew that range right there. So let's put that in there. So like I said before, I had that copied and pasted right there, so I was able to quickly input that instead of clicking and dragging down 3,000 cells. So try to make that easy. So we had a minimum of 3. Let's do a maximum. Okay, and there we go. And the max is 16. So the minimum was 3 years, which is somewhere in this list. And we can actually order this from lowest to highest as well. We can do a data sort. And so that's the range. So we know the minimum is 3, maximum is 16, and we can have numbers in each of them. So let's start to draw out our frequency table. So frequency table, and let's get our category. So number of years, and we're at 3, and we're looking at 3 through 16. 3, 4, 5, and that's going to go all the way up to 16. So we have where we can end up with our input now. So we have frequency table, number of years. Those are the different possible categories. And because we got that, because we knew the minimum was 3, maximum was 16. So let's go through and actually get these values. All right, so this data analysis button is under data. Now some of you might not have that button. And this is how, then if you don't, it's okay. I'm going to show you how to get it. So first, I'm actually going to take the option I have there, and I'm going to unclick it. So then I'm going to go through the steps to be able to get it back in. All right, so some of you now would see it like this. data analysis is not there. So to get it, File, Options, Add-ins, and then there it is as inactive. Highlight it by clicking on it, Manage, we're going to go, we're going to click it to enable it, and then there's our data analysis button. Alright, so now we have the data analysis, and now we can go ahead and do the frequency table and histogram. So data analysis, then from there we're going to click on histogram, and now I have it pre-filled out here, so let's undo that and let's fill it in. Alright, so we can click on, we need input first, we can click on that cell, start dragging down, but we know that's not 11. We have the number because I saved it above right here. So 3301. The bin range is going to be these values right here. Okay, so the bin range is going to be right here. And then output. Output is just simply where you would want the data to be thrown. So we'll put the data right. That right there is fine. Hit OK, and there we go. So now we have our frequency table. So now we have our frequency table. So it's pretty simple. It's not too complex. Let's just go through the steps one more time. So what I did was, let's delete data analysis, went to histogram. Then in histogram we have our input range. And again, for the input range, right here, we actually, above here, we saved the numbers, so we didn't have to click down and scroll through. We were able to type them in, or what you can do is you can click, and you can scroll all the way down if you'd like. It's completely up to you. But, because there's so many data points, like I said, we saved this here, and we knew that that was going to be 3, let's make sure here, 3301. And then the bin range is going to be right here. Bin range are the values that it can be. And then output range, we can put that anywhere. We can put it up here. Doesn't really matter. And then we hit OK. And there we go. So now we have our frequency table. And so let's actually label this nicely. And then frequency. So, and here we go. And let's take a look at the last problem here. Let's look at the last part. So it says create 3 probability questions for a classmate to answer. Well, let's actually clean this up a little bit and make the table pretty. Before I forget, we right click, format cells, and we go to border, make it nice and make our little frequency table stand out. Alright, so let's think of those 3 probability questions. Let's think about 3. So when we're looking at this data, we can start out by saying, hey, given this data, what's the probability that someone has 10 years of school? Or what's the probability that someone has 12 years of schooling? So let's get a total here. Let's equal. Let's get sum. Let's see how many total is here. So we have a total of 3,294 people in this study. So the first question we can ask is, like I said, and so there you go, what is the probability chances of someone having 12 years of schooling? And to do that, you would take, we have 1,188, and we have a total of 3,294, and this would be a simple division, and then change that into a percent. So that would be one question. Another question would be something like, let's think, what's the probability that someone has under 10 years of schooling? And so what that will mean was you would have to be careful with the words. So let's type that out and see. Now a question like this, what is the probability that someone has under 10 years of schooling? Well, it says under 10. So the question is, does that include 10? Since I say under 10 years, well, people in this particular category right here already have 10. So it wouldn't include them. So it would include everybody below. So if I change that and I said 10 So if I said under 10 years, instead of that, I say 10 years or fewer, then that would change the question. Then it would include that line. So that's another one. Let's think of one more question. We need 3. Here's another question. We can come up with a question that says something like, what percentage of students completed 4 years of college? And I'm going to put this here assuming that kindergarten. So we're going to assume here that kindergarten is not included in this data. So we're assuming that kindergarten is not included in this data. So kindergarten is not included. So when we're looking at this data, kindergarten is not included. Well, if you think about it, 12 years of schooling, that's 12th grade, graduate, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one here, this category, this very last one is one that completed 4 years of college. Now I can reword this here, and instead of saying completed 4 years of college, I can say completed any amount of college. So any amount of college. Now again, assuming that kindergarten is not included in this, that would include any of them. So lots of different ways to word things, take a word in, take a word out, and that would change the question completely. So there's 3 examples of probability questions that you can come up with from this frequency table. And now again, just remember, you can pick any one of those Excel files that are directions. There's several of them. And then in each one of those, there's going to be multiple variables you can pick from. And so just remember your 2 posts, your responses. For your second and third response, you want to make sure you pick a classmate's initial post response by answering the 3 probability questions. Now, often I see some students, not all, but some students, just given some probability or percentage answers. You want to make sure that you do not just give answers and you explain how you got at your solution. The key is to demonstrate quantitative reasoning and critical thinking. So just providing an answer is only going to end up with minimal credit. And if the answer is incorrect for some reason, then I was told that I'm not allowed to give credit. So please make sure that you give your thoughts on how you arrive at the answer and why. Show that quantitative reasoning, that critical thinking. And again, just make sure that you explain your steps, explain your math steps, explain your reasoning. Can't emphasize that enough. All right. If you need help, make sure you email me, text me. I am here for you. Now sometimes, again, I know this gets a little weird with Excel sometimes because most students are not used to using it. Don't hesitate to replay this video. There's some resources posted for you for Excel. Again, I just want to emphasize I'm here for you. Please let me know how I can help. Hope you have a blessed day.